for taking the time to come back to the channel. In this review, we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends Thunderstrike of the Joe Fixit Build-A-Figure wave. Reason why you're seeing two in frame, because I had actually ordered a replacement for my Thunderstrike. I had several QC issues on the first one, which is going to be going back to Amazon. And even on the second one I got, I still had QC issues. The hair on the one I got was glued on crooked. So I ended up swapping the heads out on the new body. And the new body even has paint scuffs. So I've been lucking out with Thunderstrike with QC issues. I think he's alright for now. I can touch up a little bit of blue paint there, but it's good enough for now. Thunderstrike comes in a standard Marvel Legends window box. He's got 3 accessories, if you count the Build-A-Figure piece as an accessory. He's got the head for Joe Fixit. He's got an alternate fist hand for his left arm. And he's got the Thunderstrike mace. On the side of the box, you have nice artwork of the Thunderstrike character. On the back of the box, you see all the figures in the wave, and a diagram for what parts come with which one to build Joe Fixit. On the back of the box of the product imaging, I noticed that the hair sculpt is actually different from the production figure. The hair on the production figure is all slicked back with the ponytails basically centered up, going down with a little bit of a curl to it. In the product imaging, you see there's a little bit of hair on the forehead, and the ponytail is over to the side a little more. Also on the back of the box, you get a quick little bio with a known typo for most people already. They use his son's name Kevin instead of his name Eric. Yeah, that's enough looking at the packaging. Let's take a closer look at the figure. At first glance, Thunderstrike looks pretty good. He's got some new parts and some reused parts and some deceptively new parts. The jacket is reused from the Rage figure from the New Warriors that recently come out. The arms are reused from the 80th anniversary Thor, down to the alternate hands as well, and same wristbands. But everything else on the figure is new, actually. There's a new torso, new hips, new thighs, new knees, new boots, new feet. And of course, new head sculpt. With the new head sculpt, personally, I don't think this looks like the comic book character Eric Masterson whatsoever. It looks more like the Wrestler Triple H than it does the comic book character. I'm also not crazy about having only a yelling head. I don't mind having yelling heads for dynamic posing, for doing some ACVA, but give me an alternate head where it can have a neutral face. I want, like they did with the 80th anniversary Thor. If we only had a yelling head for Thor, I would have been upset with this too. But at least we got a nice neutral expression for Thor. Thunderstrike wasn't so lucky. Also, with going over the details of the figure, one thing they messed up by reusing the Thor's arms and hands and stuff, Eric Masterson used his left hand primarily to hold the Thunderstrike mace. He held it, threw it with his left hand. He also had a 2-finger glove that covered his middle 2 fingers. I'm going to have to dig through my boxes to find a hand that'll fit this body and give him the proper gripping hand for his left. With his thighs, I originally thought they were Hyperion legs, reused from a Hyperion figure. But they are actually new molded legs to be pinless. And they're molded terribly as well. Disproportionately, I mean. The thighs are shorter than the lower legs. The lower legs are actually longer than the thighs. And the calves are the same diameter as the thighs. And they made new knees, which has a weird transition. They're very like a skinny profile, and they're actually half knees. You only got half the knee on the leg. As you can see with the original Hyperion style legs, you have a longer knee, and the transition between thigh and calf is cleaner between the knee with these knees here. With the boots, the knee guards are actually sculpted onto the lower legs, so they move with the boot. And you have a nice padded rib detail like those boots was displayed in the comics. And very nice looking boots. And these are all new as well. They're not reused from any previous figure. With the reuse of a lot of the 80th anniversary Thor parts, I kind of wish if they were going to make new thighs, wish they would have started with the 80th anniversary Thor thighs. They look so much better proportioned. These are longer thighs than they are shins, which what they should be, not the other way around like on Thunderstrike. Now let's do a quick rundown on articulation. The head neck is on a disc hinge. It's a very tight joint, which is good because otherwise we possibly had a problem with the collar being high with the ponytail. But where it's a stiff joint, you can still look up pretty well. Really well, actually. Look down. It doesn't really have any tilt on the head, just a little bit of wiggle, but you can't really pose it. Full 360. Disc hinge shoulders. Same as on the 80th anniversary Thor. They go way up. Full 360. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows. Good articulation in the elbows. Hinge and swivel wrist. Of course, where it's reuse of the 80th anniversary Thor, of course, he's got the vertical hinge for holding the hammer. I'm sorry, his mace. The new torso has a diaphragm joint. It allows crunch forward, back, just a little bit back. And instead of a waist twist, the twist is up in the diaphragm joint. The hips are on ball joints. They'll kick out to here, to the side, thigh swivel, double joint knees. This is where we're going to run into a problem with the new parts. They didn't allow enough, they didn't cut the lower legs for the joint enough. You like on a previous, like a Hyperion style mode, or you see that the notch is cut down a little more, which allows for a lot more knee bend. Where the cut is not as long on the new lower legs, you can only get right at less than 45 degrees on the lower legs, maybe at 45. With the range of movement in the knees, this is as far as you're going to be able to bend them up to. He has hinged ankles and ankle pivots. One of the things I had a QC with on the previous one I'm returning, they didn't center up the holes properly on both feet. One of the feet looked like this one looked like it was kicked off, like he had a broken ankle. The other QC problem I had was a mold defect, and this one has the mold defect as well, but nowhere near severe. The other one, it looks like they tried to fix it. You take the vest off, it's a very soft material, so it's easy to take off. You can see defects in the mold itself. There's lines like cuts and grooves from defects in the molding process. The other one had these, but more severe. They actually looked like they took like a Dremel or sandpaper and tried to cut this off. I'll show a picture up on the screen of the defects I had on the other one. And there's a piece chipped off here, and there's still a piece chipped off on this one. There's a little bit, but nowhere near as bad. Oh, I forgot to mention, the belt is floating piece. It's not glued down, so you can move it around. All right, let's get accessories back on them. Here we have Thunderstrike back together. With that said, let's do a little bit of comparison with Thunderstrike. Here we have Thunderstrike next to the 80th anniversary Thor and the Marvel Legends Hyperion figure. Here we have him next to a Bucky Cap and a Spider-Man UK. Here he is next to Hercules and Wolverine. Here we have him next to G.I. Joe Classified Snake Eyes and Pimp Daddy Destro. Again, after getting this figure, I was a little disappointed with a lot of the issues, quality control issues, and just kind of weird design choices of the figure. Because I don't really see us ever getting a 2.0 Eric Masterson Thunderstrike figure. I wish they could have nailed it out of the park off the bat, but all in all, I am glad to have a Thunderstrike figure, but I hate the fact I'm going to actually have to do a little touch up with the paint. This being my second one, got to touch up on the paint, try to find a hand that fits these arms to hold the mace on this proper hand. And it's tempting to change out the legs too. I got some blue thighs that came off the Amazon exclusive Luke Cage. So I'm very tempted just to heat and pop and change the thighs out. The tricky part's going to be where they're pinless legs, getting the knees out. I actually have to heat it up and cut inside the separate it out. So I'm going to debate on that, but it would actually be more proportional if you actually did change them out. It would make them a little bit taller, but that'd be fine with me. It was just trying to fix the weirdness of the transition between the legs and the lower legs. Overall, I'm kind of mixed feelings with the figure. I'm glad to have a Thunderstrike, but with all the issues of the figure, I kind of wish they would have took their time and designed the figure a little better. If you're not a fan of the character, I would say just go ahead and pass it on it. But if you want to build the Joe Fixit, it's going to be a must-get for a lot of people. I was going to get it no matter what, because I'm definitely wanting to build the Joe Fixit Hulk. But overall, if you're not planning on building the Build-A-Figure, I just about recommend not even get this figure. It's adequate. Where I'm a customizer, I've probably fixed some of the issues with it. But if you really like Thunderstrike and you want him to look like what he did in the comics, you're not going to be real crazy about this one. Well, thank you for taking the time to watch the review, and I'll see y'all next time.